Hey everybody, apologies. If you started watching the video that I uploaded, you'll notice that there was no screen. You could see me moving around and you could hear my audio, but you could not see the code or the screen. Now, hopefully you can see the code and the screen, and so let's do these again. I actually solved it two ways, and it is a fun, tricky, interesting one. I'll try to make it interesting. The approach that I took was to create 4 elements, or the first one, and so let's replicate what we did. I made a tall element, I think as tall as the body, and the border is green, so we do borders. And sort of the interesting part for me at the time was I was not sure that they would not overlap, but seeing that this edge goes to 200, that's actually a good sign, right? Like that means that they won't overlap. But had they overlapped, had this green border pushed over further than I would need to do if using a transparent border technique, I would have needed to do the blue ones first, right, to create this negative space for the yellow. As it is, I did this, and then used margins, and for the margins, we're going to do a var --m, because we're going to have multiple of these. I think we need 4 of them, is the best way to do this. And those margins are, so I'm actually sort of looking at what I did. 193, 192, 0, minus 68, and then a border radius. And I did, is this even interesting? I hope this is still interesting. I think I did 200 pixels, yeah, 200 pixels. And so there's ways to tune this and to optimize this, and that puts you into place. Now, without margins, that's what that looks like, but we push it over. Now we could also, set a width of each one of these of, 200 or something, and then use margins to just push it to the left and up. But I tend to not like to use a width if I can avoid it. If I'm doing margins anyway, then I can use margins to control, because again, every block level element is going to take as much space as you give it. In this case, it's pushing off screen. Now, normally, you would need to do what? Overflow hidden, because otherwise you're going to get a scroll bar, right? So if you've made very, very tall elements on a page, or very, very wide elements, wider than the page, you get scroll bars, right? And that's going to screw around with whether you would match. So CSS Battle, no scroll bars. I have not seen a case where something gets an induced scroll bar. I think that there's something interesting, like even if I do an input, like I don't think I quite, well, let's do the input first. So is that accurate? Now I can't put my, if I do a select, what does that look like? And I guess that's kind of what the select would be here in Chrome, but anyway, so Chromium is sort of hiding some of the default behaviors, and that's just fine. All right, so that's number 1. So let's make a second one, and I use an attribute selector and use a B, and I guess so. If I make this color a var, I can do the second one second. So this is not something that I did. So I do a C-color and then make the blue one. So that make the B, the B, --C, and the color is blue, right? And then if I do the margins, it's going to be very similar, right? 192. So let's see, it'll be a negative 200 or something, maybe negative 300, minus 68, 0, 192. And I think that's going to get us a lot of the way there. So minus 400, minus 390, 380, 390, 400. And is that it? Yeah, that's not too bad. So this is I'm kind of varying a little bit. So let's make another P tag, and then another PB tag. So this is even a little bit different than what I did before, and we kind of get that by default. So that's good. This is actually, so we've made improvements already. So these two bottom ones, I'm gonna give them an additional attribute of Y, because I think I want to do exactly the same thing with each one. So Y, let's do a translate, yeah, of 0 and then 50 pixels or something. 50, 60 pixels, 65 pixels, 66, 67. Oh, is that too far? How about 60? How about 55? 60, 61, 62, 63, 63. That's a weird number, but we'll take it. So then what? We could do the backgrounds. I think we do the background, I think. This is not exactly, so again, what's kind of great about this game, even if I'm doing it again, I feel obliged to do it slightly differently. So, and the best players clearly are doing iterative work and tuning and using margins and really clever techniques and repeat techniques and testing different gradient styles. Like I kind of do, hey, I see a border, I'm going to do a border. But they may see, oh, let's do a weird gradient, or let's do, you know, there was a solution the other day where the top solution was a radial gradient, and there were no curves whatsoever in the puzzle, right? Like, there are really novel, creative solutions happening, and it's just great. So, all right, so we'll do a two top, and have like, you know, 40 pixels or like 10%, and then transparent. And then there's a color stop. There it is. And then if we put on the body, we don't need this overflow hidden. We just do a background. And I think we've got it. So this is tuned from what I did before, I think. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So let's minify and unit replace and submit. Again, carving out that negative space. So yeah, this is a better score than I got before. What do I want to add here? I guess I'll show you, and I'm just going to copy and paste it from another solution. The multiple gradients. So here's a super big solution, and here's a linear gradient. That's a so here's your weird linear gradient. We do a red and a purple, right? So that's the linear gradient in front, right? So we'll deconstruct it. So that's that part. So let's remove this one. What's this one? It's a circle at 50% 0, which is where? That's in the middle and at the top. So that's going to be the down version. So see, that's creating that negative space. So I guess you can see, if I do a color here, we'll do pink. So that's that circle. Remove that. So again, and there's the background. So what's this one? This is also this is a green one, I think. Yeah, this is a green. So I'll set that, and we'll say, well, let's make it black. And there's that curve, and that's all that's doing. So a circle at 50% 0, transparent black, transparent with very specific sizing, right? Because you can't do the thing that the elements are good at is having straight parts and round parts, and a single gradient typically can't do quite that thing. So you decide how to make it repeat. So if I do a repeat, allow that to repeat in the normal way by either adding the word repeat or just removing any repeat value, it's going to repeat. So I guess that I could do what? I could do like a 5, make it 500 pixels wide, but then I have to change the position. So that's another of the things. Let's remove that one. So this is in reverse. All right, and then here's another radial gradient. I believe this is the green one as the radius going up, and very similar techniques. They all have the same background size, and just slightly different but symmetrical background positions. The -30, 215, and then this is 130, 215, right? So very, very much using the symmetry, and not things that can be easily repaired, repeated. So, and then here's finally the blue circle, and then that's where the yellow is looking through. So if I run that in reverse by redoing curve, curve, another curve, another curve, curve, back and back and back and back, and that's the final for the second way that I did it. Less efficient. Well, now I've gone too far back, actually. So let's go. Let's load it as I got the. Let's see. So this is 45 minutes ago now. Here's the final. So that's what all those gradients look like. Many. So it's what the linear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a conic gradient, so six gradients altogether to get that look, and not really an obvious way to do most of them. Now it's possible with a clever inner gradient and then cover it would be another technique, but there's less opportunities for repeats than because we have to preserve all these curves and preserve the hard edges. It's not obvious to me if there's an efficient way to do that with fewer gradients than what I've got here. Probably there's a way. I didn't figure it out. Anyway, so sorry for the technical glitch. Hope this was still a worthwhile video for you. As much as I was frustrated with video, I do love doing these puzzles. I like it better when I can share the fresh look. Like, that's part of why I do this. Like, I want to be surprised, and I always am. And unfortunately, that video is, I mean, you can't see the code as I'm writing it. You can't see me struggling with setting the margins and okay, more, less, more, push, try a different radius. And that's so much of any coding task is trying and trying again and trying again and failing and trying and failing. And part of what a programmer does is get an appetite for, okay, I will keep trying. I will keep trying and keep trying to solve this, even though I'm not getting anywhere, or it feels like I'm not getting anywhere. The truth is, any time you're making a mistake, you're also learning something, and that's really valuable. Anyway, it's a holiday weekend out there for many people around the world. Not everybody around the world, but I hope you're having a good weekend, and take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and go make a webpage. That's it. Bye-bye.